this on? Hello, my name is Alexandra Maryanopolis. Thank you for coming to the second official performance of I'm Not Special, a comedy special. I'm not trying to get too cocky here, but I feel like I am on a real damn tour. Fairfax last week, Springfield this week. Maybe if I get lucky, I can get somewhere fancy next weekend, like Burke. Let's see. But I'm serious, I really feel like I have a traveling act now, and it's starting to get to my head. Right before you guys got here, I was yelling at my stage managers, my roadies, my parents, while they were running around like chickens with their heads cut off. I was like, who was in charge for spraying mosquitoes? I'm getting bit. I'm getting bit. We need to clean this yard up. We have sticks everywhere. Where do these keep coming from? Trees? Fuck the trees. I'm sweating. I'm going to need a makeover before we get started. Hello? And they're just up on the deck trying to keep their distance from me. Like, is she really wearing a plastic headset right now? Who is she talking to? Thank you guys for coming out. I'm very excited to be doing my own show. I still remember the first stand-up set I ever did. I was sitting with the other comedians before the show, and this guy Kurt turns to me and almost growls. He goes, "What are you in for?" I looked at him very confused until he decided to explain himself. He said, "Well, everyone who does stand-up comedy has some sort of anxiety, depression, or mental disorder." I said, "Every comedian? That seems like a bit of a generalization." He goes, "No, I'm serious. Every comedian. It gives them character. Comedy is self-deprecating. Don't act so surprised." Well, I was surprised. So that night, I went home and I talked with my alter ego about it. And she said, "Yeah, I mean, if that was true, that would mean something was wrong with you. I mean, us. And we're great." I just turned 28, according to my fake ID. My friends all have fake IDs too, except theirs say more believable ages, like 22, 23. They've also had a lot of fake IDs taken over the years. I, on the other hand, have never gotten caught. But the difference between me and my friends is when they go out, they'll go with a group of like 7 other people. Half of them will look like they're still going through puberty, and the other half will look like they're waiting for that lesson where they tell you what puberty is. My going out is like me. It's a Tuesday night. I want to go watch some amateurs stand up at a small hidden bar in DC. I hand my ID to some middle-aged woman named Pam, and she looks at me and goes, "You look fantastic for your age. What moisturizer do you use?" And I go, "Olay," and I walk through. I don't actually use my fake for any alcoholic purposes because I don't need alcohol to have a personality. I'm a fun, loving, beautiful individual who can be the best version of myself, healthy and sober. Right, Terrence? Terrence is my probation officer. Please don't look at him. He's not happy with me. I'm actually 20. And I'm single, trying to mingle, feeling like a Pringle, and it's miserable because I feel like with dating, I shoot for the moon and settle for like an old boot someone threw up on a power line. I'm gonna tell a real story that happened to me. I think it's just an excellent representation of what dating is like today. So I'm trying on shoes in TJ Maxx, and I'm standing there on the laminated tile floors in my socks, and I'm thinking, you know, I never got to discover my full potential as a speed skater. So I start doing laps. I run down an aisle and I slide, and then another aisle and I slide, and another aisle and I slide, boom, right into this guy. He puts his hands out, goes, "Whoa, whoa, you okay?" And then he looks up at me and says, "You are beautiful. Have I seen you on Tinder before?" To which I respond, "No, I'm actually not on Tinder. But if I was, I would definitely stalk your profile way too long before sending some sensible nudes in a 'you up' text." He looks at me for a hot second and goes, well, I gotta go. You should definitely make a Tinder though. My name's Jared. Maybe someday, if we both swipe right, we'll know it was meant to be. I never made a Tinder for this Jared guy, and I never saw him again. But that, ladies and gents, is what my experience with dating has been like the last couple of years. I want to get married. I do. Like, tomorrow. I'm free tomorrow. I mean, I have work at 4:30, but I could pencil it in. I don't think it's too much to ask. All I want is to wake up next to someone and they can be like, aw, babe, you drooled on the pillow again. And I can be like, aw, I love you. Because that's love, you know? But love sometimes feels a little hopeless, or a lot hopeless. I wrote a song about it. It helps me elaborate more. I met somebody, my heart went berserkers, but then my boss said, please stop dating your co-workers. Mad as I was, I drove to the bar at the end of the day, and this man said, can I buy you a drink? I said, you look like my grandpa, but okay. We talked for a bit, then he left, and I looked at my phone. Man, you should have seen this. A text from my ex, so I opened it up. It was just a picture of his love sucks ass. It's all I can think about, my future and past. I went on a few dates, I thought it would last. Then I got in their bed and they tried to hand me cash. Love sucks ass. Second verse. I met somebody when I was in Petco. I was tapping on the fish tanks, they were tormenting a gecko. I thought, this is perfect, you're what I'm missing from my life. I bent down and said, is this your daughter? He said, no, that's my fucking wife. Some couples get little cutesy tattoos like two matching hearts on their wrists. I cried a lot that night, went to the ink shop and wound up with a tramp stamp like this. If you can't see it in the back, it says, love sucks ass. I think I'll give up, throw it all in the trash. I leaned in to kiss someone, they pulled away fast. So I fell on my neck weird and ended up in a cast. Love sucks ass. Love sucks ass. Single life. You know those nights when you eat a lot of junk food and then decide to masturbate? I know, romantic, right? I gotta stop doing that though, for real, because I'll lay there and I'm afraid to orgasm. I'll be like, hey, you know when you thought 15 jalapeno poppers in 15 minutes would be an exciting challenge? Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna make it through that. If you get your heart beating any faster, you might die. It's okay, you can laugh. I was living out of my car for a bit, which is fun if you're delusional enough. But I made it work. I had a pillow and a blanket shoved in the glove compartment. That was my bedroom. Let's see, around my car, every hook and handle, I had clothes hung up. Those were my dressing room / curtains. Behind my seat, I had some baby wipes and a bucket for roadside shits. It's a thing, calm down. And I had a little kitchen in the back, a cooler, some snacks and drinks, paper plates, some battery-operated candles, because I'm classy. Not gonna lie, showering became a little difficult. And after the second time, getting chased out of someone's front yard for trying to bathe myself in their sprinklers, I thought, I can go al natural for a bit. But then I hit a speed bump driving and realized I probably should have bought a lid for that bucket. And not showering no longer became an option. My car wasn't really half as cramped as you might think. I really don't own a lot of stuff. I like to pretend I'm this reawakened minimalist, but really I'm just cheap. So I moved into this really shitty apartment recently. I put the mattress on the floor, and I took the box the mattress came in, and I turned it into a make-do dresser. I had some stuff sprinkled here and there, but that's it. My apartment was pretty barren. At night, when I talk to myself, you could still hear my voice echo off the walls. I'd go, those jalapeno poppers have nothing on you. Nothing on you. Nothing on you. Initially, when I moved into my apartment, I didn't think I was gonna be able to afford rent on my own. So I advertised the coat closet in the front hall as a second bedroom. I put some flyers around campus, and 5 days later, I had a roommate named Terrence. Now, this is before Terrence and I started working together. We were friends, we were. I knew he was new to the area, so I invited him to a party with some people I knew. And I said right before we left, I said, all right, Terrence, just one thing, make sure I don't drink. He's like, yeah, of course, I got you. Well, we get there, and this party's lame, it sucks. So Terrence runs out to the car, and he comes back, and he's like, hey, you wanna try one of my pot brownies? I was like, Terrence, you're supposed to be keeping me healthy tonight. Brownies have like 400 calories. But I mean, obviously I ate one anyway. And then I got high, and then I got the munchies, and then I was like, oh shit, who brought brownies? And I don't know how many brownies I ate. Terrence and I had a lot of fun in each other's company. Fast forward a couple of months, I find out he's getting a degree in social work, and he says he'd love to work with me, but we probably shouldn't live together. So this next story comes as a shock to me, because a couple days ago, I was unlocking my front door, and my neighbor comes up to me and she says, hey, you should really give your guests a key from now on. I go, guests? I haven't had anyone visit me. No one lives with me anymore. She's like, oh yeah, you know what? It looked like he was breaking in, but I thought maybe you told him to jimmy open the door with a screwdriver type thing. And then I was gonna call the cops, but he walked out empty-handed like 3 minutes later, so. I could not believe this. Someone broke into my apartment and didn't steal anything? Are you fucking kidding me? What, is my garage sale microwave not good enough for you? Sure, the door doesn't stay on, but if you stick two chopsticks into the door latches, you can trick the machine and it still heats up food. What about my oscillating fan? I know it kind of looks like 3 hair dryers duct taped to a broomstick, but it's only caught on fire like twice, so I'd say it's still a pretty good steal. You didn't even want my hand soap? It's Bath and Body Works. Re-gift it to your trashy-ass girlfriend for Valentine's Day or something. I just want to have a word with this guy. Like, he's never gonna make it as a successful scumbag with these high of standards, all I'm saying. Since I've been living on my own, I've realized how incredibly lazy I am. Like, sometimes I'll ask my parents if I can borrow the dog for the weekend simply because I don't want to vacuum. I'll just walk him on a leash up and down the kitchen while he eats all the crumbs, making sound effects like, who's a good boy? Or if you ever see me do dishes, it's just like a quick scan for any residue. Nope, looks good, back up on the shelf. Or if there is something, those go in a second pile for my dog to scrub when he comes over. I know what you're thinking. Alexandra, that's gross. Just use the dishwasher. I can't because I've been sticking Tide Pods in my dishwasher to wash my clothes so I don't have to go all the way to the basement to do laundry. Duh. So I'm lazy. You'd assume then I'd be well rested. You'd be wrong. I've had a terrible time sleeping, and I've gotten in this bad habit of driving overtired. Last week I was coming home from work, and I'm sitting at this stoplight trying to keep my eyes open, right? And this car comes up behind me and starts honking and beeping. I roll my window down. What the fuck? He goes, it's red. Let's go. I'm like, no, I said, it's red. What are you talking about? He's like, no shit, it's red. It's a stop sign. I remember there was another time I was driving, mildly exhausted, and I had to fart. But for the life of me, I couldn't remember how to fart and drive. I ended up giving myself such a stomachache trying to figure out how I used to multitask like this. Eventually, I realized if I tapped on the brake just enough, I could concentrate to let one out, which is what I ended up doing, all down I-495. So next time you're driving out of DC and you're wondering how in the hell all this stop and go traffic got started, just remember, there's some dumbass out there trying to figure out how to simultaneously pass gas and operate a vehicle. Common sense. Does common sense come second nature to anyone else? Like you see that one last olive in the can and immediately you're like, ooh, olive. So you stick your whole fucking fist in there and then remember, ow, cans are sharp. And then you have to go knock on your neighbor's door because you got your hand stuck in a goddamn can. Until you get to the emergency room, they all greet you. Alexandra, it's been a few days. Can on the hands, classic Al. Want me to go ahead and put it on your tab? No? No one else? Well, this kind of shit happens to me all the time. And I think people end up thinking I'm just an idiot, but I'd like to clarify that through song. Some people call it getting lost. I call it stressful adventure. Some people call it knocking your teeth out, but you save money on braces if you have dentures. Often I eat my food when it's steaming. I having valid reasons for screaming. And I've had my share of kitchen fires. I sure don't have a green thumb. Yeah, I might not have common sense, but I'm not dumb. Some people call it reading the time wrong. I say you appreciate more when you're late. And some people argue I can't pick up on social cues. It's more fun to assume every outing's a date. I get dressed with the lights on and still can't match my clothes. I love my carefree life where anything goes. And I've had my share of kitchen fires. I sure don't have a green thumb. Yeah, I might not have common sense, but I'm not dumb. And I've came close to felonies, though I've never intended one. I don't have a trace of common sense, but I'm not dumb. Thank you. You know what is dumb? Acne in college, fuck that. Why couldn't this have happened to me in high school? I wasn't cool then anyway. But I had porcelain skin. And I remember one day, my freshman year of college, this one zip pokes through and was like, "Hi, mind if I crash here for a bit?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay, you're kind of cute." And then he waved in all of his friends like, "Yep, come on in, guys. She said it's fine. If you guys want to go over there, we'll stay up here. Send the latecomers down that a ways. We are gonna conquer this bitch." Now that I think about it, I really was stressed that first year of college. You know, I jumped right into a relationship. I mean, it was two other people's relationship, but I didn't know that at the time. To be fair, I really didn't know. There were a lot of red flags, though. For example, he was very emotionally unavailable, and he kept overly talking about this girl, Stella, he worked with. And Stella kept texting him winky faces. And like one day, he literally came home with a hickey in the shape of an S on his chest. So I just got this intuition that somebody else was in the picture. And it only took another 2 months of lying to myself before I was completely convinced he's seeing someone else. But in those 2 months, I kept fantasizing about blowing his cover over one of those radio shows. Have you guys heard that show, Roses? They phone in your boo and they tell them they want a free bouquet of flowers or a weekend getaway. Or in my head, they were gonna do a couples massage. So I had the whole thing planned out. I'd call into the radio, they'd call him, convince him it's real, yada, yada, yada. And who is the lucky lady that'll be accompanying you? And without hesitating, he'd go, my beautiful girlfriend, Stella. Now they tell you to be quiet on the other end of the line, but I was planning on losing my shit. What? Stella? Who the fuck is Stella? Who the fuck is Stella? Boy, explain yourself. I would just love to hear the dumb excuse he'd make up once he realizes what's happening. Like, no, babe. I said Nutella. It's good moisturizer. I want them to use it in the massage. So that was my first year out of high school. Some of my friends' lives took other turns. I have a few friends who have kids now, which is crazy because they're just so young. And I know they weren't expecting to have kids, they weren't planning on it, right? But I really think our bodies shouldn't even be allowed to make children until we're matured enough to have one, which I know is gonna be a different age for everyone. So maybe it can be something like, the day you get a Costco card. Really? Do you know you have to pay to be a member of Costco? If you didn't know that and you're going home to have sex tonight, use a condom, please. Oh my God. But to me, when I hear someone has a membership at Costco, I think this person has their shit together. They understand the basic concept of investing in your future by buying in bulk. Okay, do this for me, okay? You lock your keys in the car. Think of everyone you know. The people who shop at Costco, they answer on the first ring, come to pick you up, drive you home to get your spare set, and when you go to offer them gas money, they're gonna lie to you, tell you it's no big deal. The people who don't shop at Costco, they lost their phone like 2 weeks ago, so they never even got your call. And they're currently locked out of their house right now, so really, they have bigger issues. And if we're being real, they were probably gonna ask you for gas money even if they picked you up on their bicycle. I don't have a Costco card. I'm not trying to have kids, I don't like them, they smell weird. But I babysit a lot, so I try to be good to kids, I do. But every once in a while, I find myself driving past the Girl Scouts screaming, get a real job! Shit like that. I'm not special, I know that. I'm just like every other millennial, running around, pressing their progressive ideas on their elders, wearing nothing but 2 sequins, chanting, free the nipple, right? Now, I haven't taken it that far. My last big movement was growing my leg hair out, which I made it about 4 months. And I was flaunting, I was confident, and I felt sexy, and I saw nothing wrong with it. But here's what stopped me. I was sitting on the metro riding into DC, and I reached to get something out of my bag, and my leg brushes up against this man who's sleeping silently, right? He wakes up and screams, a ferret! After that, I got off the chain, sprinted to the nearest convenience store. I bought a travel-size razor, start shaving in their bathroom sink. And of course, the razor gets clogged, so then I'm running over, I buy a pair of scissors, and I somehow manage to clog the scissors. So then I'm running over to the Home Depot and I buy a lawnmower. I'm just kidding. I'm a pretty big advocate for equality, and if my leg hair is gross, then your leg hair is gross, and that's fine as long as we can all be equally gross together. I like being a woman for the most part. I like having something to hold on to when you're scared or you can't find your car keys. Things I'm not a fan of, periods, all things periods, pads, tampons. Let's talk tampons for a second. These motherfuckers are put in the most confusing packaging possible. All right, In case you don't know, I'll explain. Tampons come in 4 different sizes. You got lights, regulars, super, and super plus. And each tampon only has 1 letter on the wrapper, so you know what kind you're getting. Just 1 letter. The lights, just an L. Regulars, just an R. Super, an S. You get the point? Well, when you first enter womanhood, okay, you're most likely gonna be using lights and regulars. So if you can imagine this, and please don't, but I'm 13, 14, sitting in my room with a pile of tampons with L's and R's on them. In a society that commonly uses L and R to represent left and right, I'm freaking out. Left and right, what? Are there supposed to be 2? I remember the next day, my friends and I took a trip to the middle school bathroom. It's just common knowledge. Girls travel to the bathroom in pairs, in groups, in herds. You've witnessed this, I know you have. One of them's like, I have to pee. And they're like, Julie, why didn't you go when we all migrated there 20 fucking minutes ago? So my gals and I are in there. And there was maybe 6 of us in a stall, and I'm like, is this normal? They're like, yeah, that's what mine looks like. It's just so confusing. I love stand-up comedy. I love this. I love how when you go watch a comic, anything that comes out of their mouth, you have permission to laugh at. You have that freedom. Because I'm the type of person who finds literally everything funny. But life is not a comedy show. So many times, this gets me in trouble. I'm gonna end with one last song to show you what I mean. Said I've been a sinning ever since I was a fetus, so she dragged my ass to church to go get to know some Jesus. I was sulking in a pew, sitting like a loner, and then halfway through the service the preacher got a boner. Laughing at inappropriate times, it's the way I go about my life. If you want some examples, I wrote down a few so you can laugh and be a terrible person too. One time we were in the store, my baby sister grabbed her bladder, and my daddy turned around, said, baby, what's the matter? She was doing a little dance, said, I think that I can make it, and started pissing like a sprinkler. I couldn't fucking take it. Oh, laughing at inappropriate times, it's the way I go about my life. If you want some examples, I still got a few, so you can laugh and be a terrible person too. We took my grandma in the ocean, she swore that she could boogie till a wave came overhead and took her under like a rookie. She was washed up to the shore and started flopping around topless. Everyone was yelling help her, but I stood back to watch this.